Hey, what's up, guys? It's Oakley, and this is Old Bessie. And I don't know how to do a Scottish accent. It depends. But anyways, this is I'm gonna stop trying. All right, this is my culverin, and I call her Old Bessie. And we're gonna be moving up. I have two friends with me. This is gonna be Indie Pride over here, and then Pixelated Apollo. Actually, all three of us, actually gonna be playing as the Scots. So I have the noble Highland archers marching up front. I have some Highland pikemen. See, I tell you, I can't do the accent. It's I don't got it right now. We got a bunch of Highlanders, which are light infantry, kind of rabble-ish type units. I brought a lot of these pikes. In the back, I have Galloglaith, which are pretty cool, heavy infantry with these massive axes. And then I have a bit of a core of some of my nobles in the back, dismounted feudal knights. And noble swordsmen kind of camping in the back, letting the rabble get to it first and foremost. General's bodyguard, and then some feudal knights in the rear. Old Bessie is now going to change up her targets to be this nice Holy Roman Empire juicy target over there. My opponent on the right is going to be Denmark. He's going to be going for a massive right hook right there. We're trying to reform our armies to face off against the opponents. Let's go ahead and cover Indie Pride's build. He has Highland rabble, very, very light infantry. These are essentially peasants. Dismounted feudal knights, noble swords, and some Highlanders in the back with some heavy cavalry. We don't want to miss Old Bessie. And I was hoping to land some strikes, but there goes one shot, and there goes the other. So a very nice target from the Holy Roman Empire that I was hoping to strike. I mean, they got Imperial Knights, Pavice Bowmen, a lot of units here marching up in formation. Bowmen basically backed up by Teutonic Knights, and infantry hidden in the mix. So they're going to be marching up in a dense formation. Another player back here is coming up from the rear. It's going to be Venice. He has Pike Militia in the front. A lot of Knights Hospitaller. Pavice crossbowmen as well, and some dismounted knights, lots of heavy infantry. So yeah, we have more of a and he actually brought the Ribault. This thing shoots like rockets almost, so that's cool. Carting it up to the top. So they're gonna be lining up in front of us. This is gonna be the battle for Pixelated Apollo. We can go over his build as the rabble continues to form up. He brought a bunch of these Highland archers, gonna be streaming up through the front. A lot of these dismounted feudal knights. He brought heavy pike militia and some cheap pikes. So he's going to be going for a rather interesting build, which is going to be a pike rush, essentially, which is always a good move. And now you can see the combination of light and heavy pikes charging forward. Pike rushes are pretty good in this game. They're very good at holding the opponents. And then he's going to back that up with the heavy infantry left wing. And then Indie Pride's already pushing up through the center. This rabble just trying to absorb the enemy. Pavice crossbowmen, you can see those shots already coming in here. I'm surprised our guys haven't started mooning the opponents. Engagement over here is going to be a pretty big face-off. I have my Highland archers trying to square off against the enemy forces, but they have crossbowmen. So in all departments, we're going to kind of be outmatched when it comes to skirmishing. So we need to be careful about when we engage. Light infantry have pulled back. Everything's kind of pulling back, and I'm waiting for the opportunity to strike. His Pavice crossbowmen, or sorry, these are just crossbowmen, getting a bit too eager, thinking they can get up and start shooting me point blank, which would be nice. What I'm going to do is I'm going to execute a charge just to force these guys back. I'm wheeling my forces in. Old Bessie still firing. Don't think she's going to end up getting many shots, but here comes the initial charge. The rabble are going to get just countercharged by these Imperial Knights, swatting away these Highlanders. But again, this is not meant to do much damage. It's just an initial meat shield, and look at what's coming down here through the field. Here comes our heavy charge. Heavy cavalry, infantry, all coming up to reinforce our guys. This is a glorious sight seen through here. Lots of knights crossing the field. We're going to be charging after these Pavice crossbowmen. It looks like with our light cavalry, we're going to get right in on the mix. Our infantry going to ward these guys off. Now it's countercharge time. This is a glorious, glorious battle. But again, we're doing this with just our basic forces. So we're clashing all up along the front. The Highland rabble here just meant to absorb the cavalry, stop them from charging too far in advance. Actually, those are our guys, sorry. And here comes the main push from Pixelated Apollo. If you guys don't know, all he does is play medieval too. So he's very good at this. He's rabble in terms of the archers are going to support this. And here comes the pike push. Cavalry coming in to support. The Venetian guys are swarming our flanks. Over on this side, I've also initiated an assault. Going to be holding his heavy troops back with some of my, or attempting to with some of my pikes. He's still going to charge through with these Norse axemen. So all down the front, my light infantry is going to get chewed through with his guys. That's fine. I just wanted to delay them. My archers were getting some initial shots. They're going to be forced to pull back. Cavalry is going to try swinging around the side. We're going to get some nice charges right along through here. So there's going to be a massive brawl starting to take place in the center where I'm going to pour in a bunch of my Highlanders. Lots and lots of them. They are numerous, not very good, but numerous. That's enough to tie this down. In the back, I'm going to keep my General's Bodyguard and other units fresh in the rear. My Rabble is going to successfully, break up this charge from his cavalry. I'm going to counter-charge into this, bring my pikes to guard the rear. So it's going to be a big melee brawl engaged in here. The opponent is going to get his cavalry in the mix, which is pretty good. I have my archers going to be firing point blank into this. So it's going to be basically a game of me holding firm, trying to guard against hammer and anvils. And in the back, we're going to have crossbowmen firing into the mix. That's the story of what's going on there. Up through the center, we are watching this engagement. Looks like we've been able to push through. Highland nobles now charging forward. And yeah, it looks like just with sheer numbers, we're able to push through here. The Teutonic Knights trying to reinforce where they can. Infantry still in this muck in the middle with their pike militia going to be holding back our light troops pretty well. And here they go. They're going to be collapsing in on Pixelated Apollo's forces, which were pushing forward. And he was doing so with his pikes, just exerting, a bit of control, especially against Venetian heavy infantry. That's exactly how you want to deal with these badasses. He's held a lot of his Highland archers in reserve. We're going to be, reloading and firing at will into this mess. So a massive brawl down the center. Take a look at that. That is crazy. We still have some heavy pikes in reserve. These guys are waiting to charge. And this guy is waiting to charge as well. Looks like we're going to let him through finally. But yeah, we're blasting through here. I don't think we quite... let's take a look at this unit, see if he's going to actually get some shots off. He's got a lot of targets he'd like to fire at, but this unit is a bit gimmicky. It's hard to use. So there you go. We got a couple shots off, but like I said, not super effective. I'm not quite sure actually even where those shots went. It looks like we got a unit free, so now we're going to start breaking through. Speaking of breaking through, all along the center, we are now going to be collapsing this enemy line. Lots of our reinforcements, the pikes and heavy infantry drenched in blood here. This is crazy stuff. So all along the line, heavy infantry charges. Looks like we are kind of losing this side. Some of these Teutonic Knights going to be pushing through, but that's why we have these reinforcing pikemen from Pixelated Apollo. So a good move right there. Back to my side of the battlefield, this clump of infantry has gotten chewed to pieces with cavalry strikes landing in the rear, so this is equally bloody. I have one out in the center, so that's pretty good for me. And I've been continuing, to pull some forces back to ward off his own units. My Highland archers here have actually killed some of his cavalry, getting some shots off there, but he's going to come back in to finish this engagement. So I'm doing everything I can to rebuff his charges from the rear and pour forces through the center. It's going to be a big grinding fight, and it's really, I didn't know if I was going to hold this battle. My General's Bodyguard going to be in here, which is going to be crucial.
The enemy general lies
and it looks like their general, as the advisor said, is dead, so that's going to be a big buff for us. I don't know if it impacted this battle, but all of a sudden a bunch of units in the center are going to be breaking as well. So all of a sudden I have won the infantry engagement. All my opponent has is cav, which can still be super powerful, but I have the numbers now to deal with these guys, force them back. His crossbowmen being exceedingly annoying, firing at me this whole time. So what I'm going to do is charge in with my General's Bodyguard, pursue the enemy chivalric knights off the field, or at least back towards the crossbowmen, and then I'm going to get in amongst these guys and start silencing them. So chopping through there, give cover to my men to now charge in through the mix. I have my Gallo Gleich in here, this amount of knights. Now his rear lines are gonna start falling to pieces. Still some cavalry, heavy cav. Probably getting a lot of kills this battle, but I won out in the center. Not many forces left here. we can go back and watch what's happening over here. It's going to be the long pursuit of these Pavise crossbowmen who have now been caught up in melee combat. Some of them do have swords, so they will kind of fend for themselves for a little bit. Looks like they're actually beating back some of our normal swordsmen, but not to fear. The rabble is here. We have a lot more of these reinforcements now going to be committed to the fight. Chopping through these guys. Let's take a look. Yeah, it looks like they have some remaining forces here that have come back. They're going to try and re-engage in this fight with some Pavise crossbowmen continuing to get some shots off. But up on top of the hill, looks like one of my knights took out the enemy general. And that is going to be it for the force deployed up top. Trying to see if we can't. There we go. Yeah, everything is routing on this side. Going to continue to push through his men, but with that general dead, they're not going to last long. And there you go, they routed. So I have seized the right flank for the Scottish force here. Extremely glorious. The rest of the Danish forces are going to bug out. Cavalry is going to come back and try and do something to the rear. He spots this huge cluster of Highland archers. So pretty good move there to try and even the casualties up a little bit. So here they come. Looks like we're going to try and intercept with a single Highland archer unit. They're going to pay for it, get tossed up in the air, but it's going to slow down that charge. And now look at this withering fire that we're going to unleash on these guys. Doesn't look like it's going to actually punch through the plate on most of them. They're actually going to end up connecting with our guys. So this is potentially dangerous. It's too bad the opponents weren't able to pull off this type of play early on in the battle. It really would have done them some good. Had they had, you know, the extra cav to hammer and anvil the back of our lines, could have been a different story. But what you can see is going on here is we're going to be reigning supreme, chasing these guys off the battlefield. And we do still have heavy pikes bracing, getting ready. Still some lone, you know, general's bodyguard being a little bothersome, but they're going to go down. I mean, they're charging pikes from the front. All of the pikes have somehow disappeared, and he's knocking down a bunch of those guys. Holy crap, they're not getting up. That cav is brutal.
The enemy army flees the field.
And he's chopping through our guys. There you go. We cleaned that up. Still some guys in the rear lines here, but I think we have, a little bit of a pike unit remaining. And we took out this enemy general force right there. Perfect. So with the pikes in the mix, it's going to be doing well. And this is going to be Pixelated Apollo. He knows how to defend his guys pretty well, spacing them out. And he brought back some infantry to help in this final engagement as well. But this is, I mean, these guys are dancing amongst the corpses of their allies. It's a grim sight here. But I guess their chivalric duty compels them to stay in the fight and try and beat back these peasants. I really like how the character models early on changed to being all bloodied and stuff. It's very cool. If you haven't played Medieval 2 in a while, I definitely recommend it. The multiplayer is still relatively active, especially if you like multiplayer for Medieval 2. Check out Pixelated Apollo's channel. This is basically, like I said, all he does. He does a lot of Medieval 2 sieges, Medieval 2 battles. He's very well known online, and he can get parties together just like that. So if you hop on Medieval 2, I'm sure you'll be seeing more of him. Indie Pride as well was in this battle, but no one likes Indie Pride, so I'm not gonna plug. I'm not gonna plug his channel. No, I'm kidding. Indie Pride is a fun guy. He does a mix of Total War games, all sorts of different stuff. You'll see me playing a lot with him in types of actually any type of Total War battle. We enjoy all of them. Kind of hop between them. Sometimes I do co-commentaries. Other times we just try and get some games together. But yeah, this is a glorious medieval battle. I love the landscape itself, and this is something I miss is, you know, battlefields that are this big for 3v3s, 2v2, 4v4. I mean, look how huge this battlefield is. It's a shame that more recent Total War battles, especially on large settings, end up basically with armies stretching from corner to corner because the map is just so tight and it doesn't, you know, expand to meet the huge armies. But yeah, men remaining 264, not too much. 407 of my own, so I lost 2/3 of that force. So very, very cool. Our enemies actually got more kills than all of us, but I think we just brought, huge numbers to that fight. So the rabble was what won us that battle, the swarming tactics. Let's go ahead and take a look at some of these statistics here, see where the casualties were inflicted. My Highland pikemen actually doing pretty well. Oh no, that's Pixelated Apollo's unit, sorry. Yeah, so his pikemen were his main killers. Indy Pride had most of his knights who got in that early charge and some of his noble swords. And then myself here, General's Bodyguard actually cleaning up mostly on the crossbowmen. Not too many kills, a lot of it spread out between Highlanders and other units. My Noble Archers really not doing much, 12 and 10. Those guys just, I mean, we got rushed, so didn't end up doing too much. And Big Betsy, or Old Betsy, they call her in, only 5 kills to her name, but we love her nonetheless. She tries. Anyways, that's enough. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace out.